Hi, I'm Trevor May from Mayfly Audio, and welcome to the next video in the series where I build a Tweed Deluxe from a cheap Amazon kit. For amp builds, I like to start wiring by getting as much stuff on the actual eyelet card, or in this case turret board, as much as possible, because it's a lot easier to wire it here than it is inside a little tiny chassis. And yeah, the Tweed Deluxe is a little tiny chassis. I'm using some cloth pushback wire. This stuff is great. You don't have to strip it. Essentially, you push it back a little bit, you wrap it around whatever you want to put it on, solder it in place, and it just relaxes back into its original position. Here, I'll show you. I need to attach a wire to this particular turret board. So I grasp it, pull it back, and then I wrap it around the said turret board just like that. Wrap it around our turret. Oh, I need a bit more, so I can push a button back and push back a bit more. Kind of grab it, hook it around, and hook it in place. I just installed that one right there. And just gonna go down here like this, apply a little bit of heat to our connection. And there it is. I just gotta cut it to length. So I'm cutting them a bit long. They're all probably a little too long, but that's okay. Once I have things mounted, I'll route the wires, trim them to length, and then push back the wire, install it into the tube sockets, solder them, and then I'm done. It's really, really great stuff. So I'd like to contrast the cloth pushback wire that I used on the board with the stuff that came in the kit. So this stuff does not push back. You need to use wire strippers to expose the end of this. All right, fine, you pull it. Your wire strippers, you select what you believe is the correct size. You snip it, pull it off, and it leaves strands of extra insulation behind. It kind of negates the whole idea of the pushback wire. It's actually tougher to deal with than modern wire because it leaves all this extra crap behind after you strip it. The only reason why you'd use something like this is strictly for aesthetics. Now I've got the lower portion of the wires installed on the turret board, so I've inserted it into the chassis to see how I'm doing. And I'm not doing too bad. They're a little long, but that's okay. The turret board is wired. Now onto other stuff, particularly potentiometers. We are set up on the bench. Now I'm using the enclosure as a jig. Now if you look at the wiring diagram, it suggests that you solder a ground bus to the back of these potentiometers. I tried, and I think these are clear zinc coated because I could only get just a little bit on one of them and I didn't want to totally melt things. So I won't be soldering to the back of the pots. Instead, I'm going to be soldering to these little tabs that I installed underneath them. I've got my ground bus installed, and I'm just going to solder that on. According to the wiring diagram, there's a 4.7 microfarad capacitor just installed just here like this. Bend it so it fits. And then I'm going to cut this to length and insert it through the hole and solder the ground and that capacitor at the same time. So far so good. 500 puff capacitor going between this leg here and the wiper here. Uh-oh, my 500 puff capacitor just decomposed right in front of me. All of the insulation on this is chipping off. That's not good. Oh yeah, I can see it cracking right through it. It's gonna just all chip off. Not gonna use this cap. Going through my little stash of parts, I've got this 500 puff silver mica capacitor that we're gonna use in its place. Just like that. So the wiper here gets connected to the hot lead of the volume there and the hot lead of the volume here. Now we also have to run ground leads from these two pins down to our little ground bus here. So I've got some black wire that I'm going to use for that. I'm just going to go up here, poke it through, cut it to length, and do a Western Union and solder it on. There we go. I did a little bit of work off camera. I've wired the input jacks. Because these were linked so much, I figured, okay, this is another candidate for doing on the outside and then just flipping it over and installing it. Next step, heater wires. I hate running heater wire because the sockets have to be installed in the chassis because the wire all goes around the inside. For good noise reduction, this has to be all twisted together. Fortunately, this task can be made a little bit more fun with the use of some power tools. Yeah, in the end, I abandoned the power drill. I just did it by hand. So that was a total pain in the ass. This is my least favorite job of anything that I do for an amp build. But there it is. The heaters are wired. We're going to take this and put this into it. So the plan here is to first mount the turret board inside the enclosure, wire up the sockets, and then wire up the front panel. Now, because I need to use standoffs with this turret board, it's going to be really fiddly. What I plan to do is put the screws through, tape them in place so they don't move, flip the whole thing upside down, put in the standoffs, and then insert that into the enclosure. I've got Jackson Browns running on empty going through my head right now. I don't know why. And now, the enclosure. Just gonna throw a nut on that real quick. So I don't drop it. Ha! Well, that was bloody annoying. And now I have to solder all those wires. Yeah, there's not really that many wires to solder from this point on, actually, which is quite good. The plan is to solder all of the tube sockets. It's going to be difficult showing this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn off the camera, solder one or two, and then take photographs so you guys can see what I did. The preamp tubes are wired. It was still very fiddly, and there's such little space inside there. It's tough even to get in some wire cutters. Now I'm going to wire up the power amp tubes. It's worth noting that with this design, Fender did not put in screen resistors. I'm putting them in 470 ohm, 2 watt mounted directly to the power tube sockets. You can make up your mind whether you want to do that or not, but I'm doing it. Now we're at the point where we need to mount the output transformer before we can go any further. Here's our nice Hammond output transformer. So let's see here, that is the primary, this is the secondary, so it should mount like this. So that go down that one. Output transformer mounted. So just go through the hole, just like that. And boom, out the other side. Primary goes down this hole here. So these wires will go to the output jacks. So we'll just tuck them away out of there, get them out of the way for the time being. That will go to the standby switch. So we'll route that just up there like that. And these two go to the tube sockets. The blue one comes over here and the brown one comes over there. That is all the tube sockets wired. We're going to leave it at that point for today. So as usual, like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next video.